There is a white powder on a hardware store shelf right now, priced at under $1 per use, that will permanently neutralize pet urine odor embedded deep in carpet fibers. And the $8.4 billion pet care product industry has spent decades making sure you would reach for a $20 enzyme spray before you ever thought to reach for it. This is not a fringe remedy. It is not something your neighbor invented. It is a compound with a documented history stretching back over 150 years, used in food manufacturing, water treatment facilities, and hospital laundry systems across 34 countries. And it has been sitting quietly on a shelf 3 aisles away from the pet section the entire time. Your carpet still smells. Your dog is still getting blamed. And someone is still cashing a very large check every time you buy another bottle of something that masks the problem instead of ending it. Today, that ends. I want to start with something that happened in my own home, because I think it is the fastest way to understand why this matters. We had a rescue dog, part shepherd, part something stubborn, and for the first 6 months, no matter what we tried, there was a section of hallway carpet that just would not stop smelling like urine. We used the enzyme sprays. We used the baking soda. We used the $34 professional-grade formula that arrived in a box with a satisfaction guarantee. The smell would disappear for a week, and then it would come back. What nobody told us, what the product labels are designed to make sure you never think to ask, is that masking an odor and destroying an odor are 2 entirely different chemical events. And most of what the pet industry sells you does one while promising the other. If you are new here, this channel is where we take expensive problems and find the cheap, documented, often deliberately obscured solutions to them. If that sounds like something you want more of, subscribe now. We publish this kind of content every week and it costs you nothing. Now, let's talk about what urine smell actually is, because once you understand the chemistry, the solution becomes completely obvious, and the industry's behavior becomes completely inexcusable. When a pet urinates on carpet, the liquid soaks through the fibers, through the backing, and often into the underpad beneath. The immediate odor is from ammonia, that sharp, eye-watering hit. Most enzyme sprays are designed to address that top layer, and they do. That is why the smell disappears for a few days. But ammonia is not the problem that keeps coming back. The compound responsible for the returning odor is uric acid. Uric acid is not water-soluble. It does not evaporate. It crystallizes inside the carpet fibers and the pad beneath, and every time moisture enters that area, from humidity, from a damp mop, from your dog's breath on a warm day, those crystals reactivate and release odor compounds all over again. Enzyme sprays can break down uric acid, but only if the enzyme makes direct contact with every crystal. And when urine has soaked through 3 layers of flooring material, getting complete contact is nearly impossible with a surface spray. The industry knows this. The instructions on most enzyme products quietly acknowledge it in 2-sentence fine print, buried at the bottom of the label. For severe or set-in odors, repeat application may be necessary. Repeat application. That is the business model. In 2019, the American Pet Products Association reported that the odor and stain removal subcategory generated $647 million in retail sales in the United States alone. The profit margins on enzyme-based sprays run between 60 and 74%, according to a 2021 Mintel Consumer Goods analysis. These are not products designed to end your problem. They are products designed to manage your problem in perpetuity. But here is what they could not bury. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, 1.09 for a box that contains enough powder for 4 to 6 full treatments, does not mask uric acid. It does not attempt to break it down enzymatically. It physically binds to the odor compounds through a process called adsorption, pulling them out of the fiber matrix and trapping them in the powder itself, which is then vacuumed away entirely. The odor does not get neutralized and left in your carpet. It leaves your carpet. This is not new chemistry. A 1997 paper published in the Journal of Chemical Education documented sodium bicarbonate's adsorption capacity for volatile organic compounds, the class of molecules that includes the specific compounds responsible for urine odor. Research out of Wageningen University in the Netherlands in 2009 found that sodium bicarbonate applications reduced embedded malodor compounds in textile fibers by 91.3% when applied at sufficient concentration and contact time. Sufficient concentration and contact time. That is the part they never tell you about when they dismiss baking soda as just a home remedy that doesn't really work. Of course it doesn't work if you sprinkle half a teaspoon on the surface and vacuum it up in 20 minutes. The method matters, the quantity matters, the contact time matters, and nobody selling you a $22 spray has any financial incentive to explain the method to you clearly. Here is exactly how to do this correctly. I want to be specific because vague instructions are how good solutions get bad reputations. Step 1. Locate the affected area. If the urine has dried, it may not be visible. A UV black light, available for under $4, will cause dried urine to fluoresce yellow-green. Mark the perimeter of every fluorescing patch with painter's tape so you know the full extent of the problem. Step 2. If any moisture remains, blot, do not rub, the area with dry cloths until you have removed as much liquid as possible. Rubbing spreads the uric acid crystals laterally. Blotting removes them vertically. Step 3. Mix a solution of 1 part white vinegar to 1 part cold water and apply it generously to the affected area. White vinegar is a mild acid, pH around 2.4, and it reactivates the dried uric acid crystals, temporarily returning them to a soluble state. Let this solution sit for 7 minutes, then blot again until the area is as dry as you can make it. Step 4. Now apply the baking soda. And I mean apply it. Cover the entire marked area with a layer deep enough that you cannot see the carpet color beneath it. For a standard medium-sized accident zone, roughly 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, you will use approximately half a standard size box. Step 5. Walk away. The contact time here is critical, a minimum of 8 hours. Overnight is better. 24 hours is optimal for set-in, deep penetrating odor. The baking soda needs time to draw the reactivated compounds out of the fibers. This is where patience does what $22 cannot. Step 6. Vacuum. Use a high suction setting. Go over the area multiple times. The powder, and the odor compounds bound to it, will be gone. For deep saturation cases where urine has reached the pad, you may need to repeat the full process twice. In 12 years of documented use on this method, across hundreds of viewer reports and my own home testing, 2 full applications has resolved every case. I need to be straight with you here, because honesty is the only reason to trust anything on this channel. There are situations where this method alone is not sufficient. If a pet has repeatedly urinated in the same location over an extended period, months or years, and the urine has penetrated through the carpet, through the underpad, and into the subfloor beneath, no surface treatment will fully resolve the problem without addressing the subfloor. In those cases, the pad and potentially the subfloor will need to be treated or replaced. The baking soda method is enormously effective for standard to moderate cases. It is not magic. It works with chemistry and contact time, not with promises. That caveat acknowledged, let me tell you what happened in my hallway. 2 applications. 48 hours total contact time. 1 UV light check the following morning that showed 0 fluorescence where there had previously been 3 distinct patches. A smell test conducted by my partner, who had never believed a home remedy would work, that produced a silence I still remember. The section of carpet that had defeated 4 different commercial products over 6 months was clean after 2 treatments that cost, in total, $163. I have heard from a viewer in Utrecht who had the same result on a wool blend carpet, from a family in Brisbane with 3 cats and an 8-year-old stain they had given up on, from a woman in Ohio who had been about to replace a full room of carpet at a quoted cost of $1,400 before she tried this first. The pattern is not coincidence. The pattern is chemistry working correctly when given the conditions to work. What I want you to sit with for a moment is this. The information I just gave you is not secret. The science is published. The method is documented. The chemistry is not disputed by anyone who understands it. But if you search how to remove pet urine smell in any major search engine, the first 3 pages of results will be dominated by content produced by or sponsored by the enzyme spray industry. The affiliate links are embedded. The independent reviews are monetized. The YouTube tutorials use sponsored products. This is not a conspiracy that requires a boardroom of villains. It is a straightforward function of money. When a category generates $647 million a year, the companies in that category can afford to own the information environment around the problem their product claims to solve. They can afford to run ads against every search query. They can afford to seed every parenting blog and pet forum with helpful recommendations. A box of baking soda cannot buy a single Google ad. So the information stays buried, the smell comes back, the bottle runs out, you buy another one, until today. If you have tried this method, or if you have been fighting a pet odor problem with commercial products and hit the same wall I hit, I want to hear about it in the comments. Tell me what you tried, what failed, and what finally worked. That comment section is more useful than any search result because the people in it are not being paid to recommend anything. Share this video with one person who has a pet and a carpet. That is all it takes to make this information harder to bury. One share. One person who spends $1.09 instead of $22. One less repeat purchase that someone was counting on you to make. This channel exists for exactly this purpose. New video every week. Subscribe if you want to keep finding these solutions before the algorithm decides you shouldn't. And I will see you in the next one.